Hey, my name's Eric. I'm the executive director here at Loos Center for the Arts. I'm on the phone or on Zoom today with Damon Marks and Elaine Tuttle from the band Frontiers, bringing the world's number one journey tribute to Loos Center for the Arts next week. Uh, Today we have just a couple questions so you can get to know the band a little bit more and hear what they have to say. We know that you'll love the show. For people seeing Frontiers for the first time, what makes your tribute to Journey so much different than all the others?
We don't just play Journey songs. I think it's that we recreate the full Journey experience. So it's intentional for us. So like with Elaine, like the soaring lead vocals that, would capture Steve Perry and all his power and emotion and like Neil Sean's signature guitar tones, harmonies on the vocals, and the energy that, Journey brought when they were at their peak. So I think that it's more of the authenticity without like the imitation. So there's a connection with the audience. We want people to leave kind of saying like, that felt like Journey.
Journey, we have Steve Perry, who's our front man. In Frontiers, we have a female singer. How does that make you guys have a strength over all the other competitors? We spoke a little bit earlier today, just kind of talking about things, and you had some great insight there.
The challenge for Elaine, and the reason that I had mentioned to you that when I started Frontiers, why I wanted a female is, Steve Perry's vocals weren't just high, they were like relentless. They were really up there, and it's song after song, these vocals sit in like a demanding range with these phrasings and like these notes and how they sustained. It's kind of like there's no place for her to hide. So you can't just like, I don't know, muscle through them. She's trained. She's a professionally trained singer, so it takes like discipline and control, and you got to pace the voice, I guess. And she could explain it better, but like, doing back-to-back nights and having to sing songs like Faithfully or Don't Stop Believing or Separate Ways. Um, it's not easy,
There's
so
a
but
reason that those of us out in the audience or on the other side of the stage aren't up there, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So from a vocal standpoint, I would think that, that is um how I feel about what she does and what makes her stand out from all the other Journey tributes and the male singers. Listen, you may find a Journey tribute out there that you might have one or two that the singer may look a little bit like Steve Perry, but they're dropping the key of the songs down, maybe a half step, maybe a whole step. And again, I had mentioned that changes the dynamics of a song. Um, so getting her and us to do these in the original key, it keeps the authenticity, I think, of the original songs for the audience.
Journey's known for big emotional songs, huge vocals. What's the hardest part of doing those songs justice live?
It'll sound like a strange answer, but it's not hard. There isn't anything hard about it. Actually, it's because the music is so good, and I'm all about emoting and performing every single note and lyric like it's the most important part of the song, because every note and lyric is to me. And I feel the music and I feel the lyrics and what the songs are about, and I emote that as I'm going. So for me, that's just natural. That's like the easiest part, is the performing. um there is a bit of a challenge vocally, just having to, like what Damon was saying about like pacing yourself and writing a set list that's exciting but also like gives you a chance to have a break in between songs, because I'm not just doing the lead, but I'm doing the harmonies also. And I mean, normally, that isn't done by the lead singer. The lead singer's, gets a break, but I have to do those also. So it is a lot of singing, and it's a lot, but you pace yourself and you write the set list the right way, and it all works. And then of course we also have Paul singing Greg Rowley's songs, on the keys, so that gives me a bit of a break also during the performance. So that's the most challenging part, is the endurance, is getting through the whole show without any, without tiring out, which that never happens for me. I always am wired at the end of a show. Like, it's the opposite. The energy is like through the
Through the
roof,
roof.
as you know from seeing us.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a fun show to watch. I mean, I've seen Frontiers at other venues, and I've been fortunate to work with you guys in a different perspective as lighting guy.
Yeah.
And it's just such a fun show. You guys are a blast to watch up there. You have a great time up there.
Thank you.
Um, of the two of
Yeah.
you, what is the song in the set that always gets the biggest crowd reaction? And how does that energy feel on the stage?
So I would say the biggest reactions would probably be a tie between Separate Ways and Don't Stop Believing. But there are other songs that get big reactions. I mean, it could be Wheel in the Sky. Um,
Who's
you know,
crying now?
Who's
Every time we
Crying?
start it, people
Yeah,
start
yeah,
cheering like immediately. Like,
yeah,
and it's so quiet at the beginning,
yeah,
so you can hear that.
yeah, yeah. You live and die by the feel of the Journey songs, and people get that, you know. And I think for us, it's more of like the pressure of expectations, because real Journey fans, because these songs are storytelling, they know every note,
Exactly.
harmony, keyboard swell. So like they don't want it just like a tribute band. They want to, kind of feel the songs like if it was the first time they heard them. So we kind of got to honor that. And we don't play to tracks. Some bands do, some don't, but we don't play to any tracks. So everything we do is live. So, we have to perform with the energy and connect live.
It's the crowd too. Like, they tell us when we have meet and greets after the show,
Yeah.
or even if we don't and they just happen to see us when somebody's walking by, they all kind of say the same thing, like thanking us for bringing them back to these memories, and that the experience was as if they were watching Journey, like they were brought back to those memories because it was so exact as far as the precision. Like, we do everything exactly the way it's recorded.
Yeah.
And then we do some some flourishes and embellishments that they also do live. So
Right.
we're still doing what they do. And so you're getting that same experience. You're not getting like different versions of songs, or even like even lowering the key is makes it different, changes the experience.
The
But
energy.
like I say, we do everything exact, and it makes a difference, because they always say that, people always say the same thing, that it's like I closed my eyes and I was, a teenager again. And so that's the best part. I mean, look, the proof's in the pudding when the audience tells you that you brought them back to those memories and those days.
Close our eyes and kind of
Yeah.
take a few steps back sometimes. And
Be a teenager again. That would be
yeah.
great.
So, Loose Center for the Arts, there isn't a seat further than 100 feet from the stage. That's obviously, you've performed in massive venues, small, intimate venues. What's it like to perform music in an intimate space like Loose Center when you're able to connect with the audience?
It's kind of like a shared musical moment instead of like this big spectacle. When you're in those more intimate places, there's more passion and power with the big hits, because it's up close and it's emotional, in a more meaningful way for both the performer and the fan, versus being in a big arena. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong playing in big arenas,
Oh, that's a plus
but
too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but I can tell you from actually I played the Garden, I've played the Prudential Center. There is, other than that really cool arena swell you hear from the audience, the you don't really see, you can't really see people very well from those stages because of the lighting. Um, but in these theaters, you can certainly, see everybody, and people, the seats are way closer to the stage. And so, I think there's more of the, like I said, it's more meaningful for, the performer and the audience member. So,
Yeah. I think I agree with that. I think that like the smaller the theater, like you can feel the eyes on you, and you can see them also. And so there's more, it feels more connected for sure. But I think of myself as a concert goer when I'm up on stage. I think about like if I was in the audience, what would I want to be, you know, experiencing? What would I want to? So I'm up on stage, like I'm in the audience, thinking that way, and I try as often as possible to like eye connect with people if I can. Usually you can't because the stage lights certain distance back, but I do that all the time, and everyone's always looking at least like directly, so like I say, you can feel it, you can see it, and it feels definitely more connected in a smaller place for sure. But both are amazing.
Yeah,
I
we're not
remember
saying
like
that one's worse by any
we
means.
we,
No.
we played a pretty big show in Utah last summer. Not this past summer, the one before, and it was like 2000 something, like 2200, I want to say
Good
something like
size
that
space,
maybe.
yeah.
And two things, they asked us if we wanted to watch people walking in from the parking lot, which was the first time experience for me.
Huh.
So I was like, yeah. And so I looked out and I could see them, filing in from the parking lot, walking all the way
That's
up
cool.
into. It was an outdoor event, but it was really big. And then when we were doing lights, we always get the crowd to turn their lights on, and I remember feeling for 1 second when I saw the lights go on so far away, like I
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, there's people all the way back there, like that I couldn't even see in the dark, that there were people there, and then I saw their lights and I'm like, and I felt like connected even to them that far away, that like they see me, whether I see them or not,
Right,
like
right.
it's there. And I had this feeling of like, for a second, I was on stage singing and thinking, I almost feel like Freddie Mercury at like Wembley or whatever that was.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a huge difference, but for a minute, I was like, wow, like, I can't believe there's this many people here and they're that far away, but even that far away, they're still turning their little light on. It was great. That's really cool too.
That's really cool. Now, Journey songs obviously very sing-along friendly. Do you notice audiences reacting differently depending on where you're performing, like the city or venue? Like, what's that like going through all
I
these?
don't think so. Not too much. What do you think, Damon?
when they realize, oh, we're allowed to sing,
Yeah.
Elaine will get them into and kind of call them out and say, hey, let's sing these together. And then, and then all of a sudden it's not just Frontiers isn't just performing them. We're performing with them, like with the crowd, like they feel like they're part of the band. And like that energy is different. It's different every night and it's different for different venues, but it's powerful for us to hear that.
Sure.
And it's just nice because it just kind of goes to show you that, Journey's music still connects kind of, deeply with these people, even decades later. So
Yeah,
that's,
you'll see everyone singing along, little kids, 90-year-olds, and everything in between. To me, it's like the same at every show, honestly. Like everyone is into it, everyone is singing along, people are dancing. Lots of slow dancing goes on during the ballads
Oh,
for
that's
sure,
cool.
like couple people couple up. And there are parts in the show where, I mean, I can hear them. You can hear them singing. That's how loud they are sometimes. So there are parts in the show, certain songs where I have the crowd sing by themselves. And they love it. They love it because they can hear themselves. And I remember, again, being a concert goer myself, like that would have been one of my favorite things when they let the crowd sing by themselves. I love that.
Yeah.
So we do that sometimes here and there, some songs that everyone knows the words and they're singing anyway. So
I'll be singing.
yeah,
It's a show that definitely gets every generation that I can think of. Everyone knows Journey. Yeah.
the music
What?
is so good, you can't miss.
Yeah, yeah. I know for me, like growing up, my parents listened to Journey, right? So it was always on in the house. That's what's always pulled me towards listening to it. And it's catchy, it's all the fun stuff. What drew each of you personally to Journey's music?
I'm a little younger than the average Journey listener. Like when they were first out, I was just a little girl. Like I was in grammar school, like 6, 7 years old, something like that. But then as they got bigger, I remember like walking around in the malls and like everyone's wearing Journey t-shirts and they all had like the feathered mullet. And I all wanted to be those older kids. You know what I mean? I wanted to be them. I wanted to go to those concerts and hear that music. And so it was just a matter of like MTV and like the radio. That was my, the what I knew of Journey was like the 80s. And it's funny because my boyfriend and his friend, they're 6 years older than me. And whenever he actually came over today for lunch, but whenever we would go to his house to hang out by the pool, he would always have music playing in the backyard, through the speakers and stuff. And he always put on, I think it was the Infinity album. And I didn't know any of that music. Like there were Journey songs I wasn't even aware of. And then there's the ones I was like, Don't Stop Believing, Who's Crying Now, Girl Can't Help It, Send Her My Love, Separate Ways, like those things, Open Arms. I knew about that stuff. I didn't know about like feeling that way and Anytime or Just the Same Way. Any of the Greg Rowley, I wasn't even aware that there was another singer in the band. Like I didn't even know that. And so they would always play the album would open, I think, with Anytime and Feeling That Way. And I was like, who is this? This is so great. It's Journey. I'm like, what? So that just goes to show you, I wasn't even aware of, a good chunk of their music until I joined the band and had to learn some stuff. And I knew most of it, but so that was my thing. But I've always been a fan. I've never seen them. Can you believe I've never seen them in concert ever?
Either.
But I've always been a fan, and I don't even own a Journey album. So
And
there
it's
you go.
not going to be an option, right? Like you guys are the option, the best option out there to see it if that, yeah.
For some of us, it started young. Journey was always on in the background. The songs kind of became part of like our growing up, our soundtrack of our growing up, before we really understood why they were what they were. But and then as I got older, I think what also drew me in was the musicianship. Obviously Neil Sean, his guitar lines are very much like a part of the vocals. They're very memorable. People sing those lines. So for me as a guitar player, his style is very similar to my style of playing with that bluesy rock feel. So and it's challenging going up and playing his stuff because even though we've been doing it for a long time, it's still a challenge to perform that stuff because again, we don't use tracks. We do it note for note. So one of the things that I used to absolutely hate when I went to concerts as a kid was when I went to see Kiss or I went to see, whoever it was, any of Bon Jovi, any of these bands, and the guitar player would play a completely different guitar solo than what
Yeah,
was
they're
on
trying
the
to
album.
show off, they're trying to do all that stuff instead of
It
doing what you know and love.
it just drove me nuts. I want to hear what I loved about the album. So when we play it note for note like the album. And I think it can be it can be challenging. But I think for all of us, like the personal connection kind of tied into certain moments of our lives. It was the music that kind of shaped who we were growing up. So
And for me too, I didn't even think of this before, but obviously it's the vocals too. Just being a singer, I've been singing since before I was speaking. Like
Mm.
before I talked, I was singing to the radio and to everything that my dad was playing. So I was always singing and loved, like some of my favorite artists are like incredible singers like Barbara Streisand, Donna Summer, stuff like this. And I loved bands like Crosby, Stills and Nash that had incredible vocalists and stuff like that. So I liked Journey also younger because of Steve Perry, because of his voice, like another. Boston was another band I really liked, again, because of Brad Delp, because of his voice. So what drew me to Journey more than anything was Steve Perry's voice. But again, like I said, it was more of like just being there. Like, and what Damon said too, it's like a soundtrack of our youth. Like they had so many songs, so many, and
So
for
many.
such a
It's such
long
like you
time.
said, expansive,
Yeah,
right? Like
and over a
that
long period of
that list.
time. We're talking like 30 years, something like that. It's kind of crazy.
Not necessarily to perform, but what's the favorite Journey song for you? Maybe you've never even performed it, but the one that just like this is your Journey song.
I really like Who's Crying Out, and whenever we do it, and the crowd goes at the beginning. When I was saying, I always go my favorite because it kind of is, but it's changed now that we've learned. Like Mother Father, that was a song I never even knew about, and once we learned that, I ended up loving performing that. It's a very different. It wasn't a big hit, but it still did chart. It was like I think it went up to 19 on Billboard. So like that's pretty high considering. But nobody really knows that song. Fans do, but so we don't play it that often. But that one I really like too. But yeah, Who's Crying Now is probably something about it. I really like that song. Vocally though, to sing what would be my favorite. They're all fun to sing. All of them. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like it's each one is like a movie you love. Each song is like a favorite movie. Like
What about you, Damon? You clearly have an answer. You must.
I mean, definitely Mother Father is a favorite of mine because of the difference of that song.
yeah,
It's a different type of song. It's
heavier.
Yeah, it's a heavier song. There's clean guitar, there's distorted guitar, there's great vocals, there's cool guitar solos, and then the meaning behind the song is a cool meaning behind that song, and what it represents. So I would say, for me, Mother Father is that kind of a song. And we do try to rotate every year. We try to rotate everything in and out for different shows. We try to not play the same stuff. I mean, obviously the hits, yes, but like some of the deeper cuts, we try to rotate them out. Like, sometimes we'll do Escape, sometimes we'll do Mother Father, sometimes we'll do Keep on Running. It depends on what we kind of feel, but we try to keep it always rotating to keep the show because again, we get people that follow the band that'll come and see us 4 or 5 times in a year. And we want them to be able to walk away saying, "Oh, they played something different every time we see them." So, but I would say for me, probably Mother Father.
What are audiences expecting to feel when they're walking out of the show at the end of the night? What's that emotion that they're gonna have?
Two things I hope they feel, which is I forgot it was a tribute band, and it took
Right.
me right back to the 80s. Those are the two things I want them to walk out saying, which is
Yeah.
what most of them do say.
Nostalgia and
Yeah,
reminiscing.
yeah. I think most of them do kind of say that stuff that, we forgot it was a tribute band because the band, and Eric, we spoke about that. You had a buyer next to you in APAP who said when he looked down at his phone and didn't look straight at the band, it was like Journey was on stage. I mean,
Yeah,
you heard him say that. And that's what we hear a lot from audience members. And the other thing generally is that it took me back to the 80s, in that time period. So,
Yeah, same thing. And that, that they had a blast, that they had a good time, that they with whoever they came with, and that they all had a good time together. We get that a lot too. Like sometimes little kids will be there with their parents and they'll want to come up and like bring me a gift or just have a hug or something. And then, the parents will say, "Oh, we had such a good time with our son," or whatever it is, like that's what usually happens is people are walking out with huge smiles on their faces. Some of them are crying. I'm not joking either. Like literally in tears and hugging and saying thank you. Like that kind of thing, like just blown away and like being brought back to their childhood or their youth and, reminiscing like as if it was, like they were young again. That's how I want everybody to feel when they walk out, like they were young again.
that's What more could you ask for, right? So it's showtime, right? What's the pre-show ritual? What do you do to get ready and in the mood for the show?
Oh, well, if you're backstage, you'll clearly hear what she does when she warms up. We have to stick her in a room and close the door so nobody else can hear her. She does these vocal warm-ups, and the band kind of, the rest of us kind of laugh because like you could literally hear her back. It sounds like somebody's killing her back there with these noises, but that's what she does to warm up. That's kind of her ritual before, before a show. I mean, for the rest of us, it's pretty much just, being back there with our instruments, warming up. We don't have any odd rituals, if that's what you're asking. Like we don't
Yeah.
like,
Walking
we
around
don't like,
barefoot with a half glass of water on the grass, nothing like
no, no.
that.
Yeah, we don't have any bizarre, weird rituals that we do. The only kind of ritual we do at the end of the night is we always walk up and take a bow to the audience. That's kind of a ritual that we do at the end of the show. But before it, everybody kind of does the musical things that they need to do.
Yeah, everybody does their own thing. Like we don't do anything as a group, like one of those, hand things. Woo, we don't do that or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for me, it's just a matter of getting ready, putting my makeup on and deciding what I'm gonna wear as far as that goes, how I'm gonna do my hair and that kind of thing. But other than that, it's just warming up. That's it. Warming up, a little bit of stretching and physically moving because as you know, I move a lot on stage.
Getting ready for all the high kicks, right?
you know, I don't know high kicks, but like I might as well, right? The energy is there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I know that like Jerry does a lot of stretching too, and with the drums and stretching, like that kind of thing. Stretching, warming up, nothing crazy.
I want to thank you both for your time today. As we go into the show, I want to leave with one last question to both of you, which is a finish the sentence, if you will. And I guess the sentence would be the Frontiers show is best described as, what would your answers be?
A journey back in time.
Journey back in time. I like it.
I could say that I would think it's an emotionally, so I told you we try to recreate the arena show. So it's like, for me, I would want to say it would be like an emotionally charged concert experience. And that's kind of like that Journey arena show that people would say was up close and unforgettable for them, when they walk out of the place for sure.
Yeah, and some sort of time machine thing has to be involved in there as well. That you get brought back, that you get brought back into, a time and place where Journey, ruled the airwaves.
There's a lot of Journey tribute bands out there, and there's good Journey tribute bands. We don't we don't look at different bands in negative ways, but I think that for us, we love what we do as musicians, and we grew up on this music. And for people that want to go out and have a great evening with a boyfriend, a husband, a significant other, and enjoy
Randomly
a night
friends.
out. Your friends, you want to go out and have dinner and go see a great band and have, a good time. Again, it's very authentic with what we do. And, and for the people that kind of want to wear those horse blinders and say, well, there's a female. Well, you know what? Go take a chance,
Yeah.
come out and watch the show. I mean, I can tell you, and listen, I have no reason to BS because I don't care. Um, every person that we've ever encountered, and there hasn't been tons, there's been a few, but anybody that we've ever encountered along the way that in the beginning would say, oh, well, there's a female, I would always say, get in touch with me. I'll get you a comp ticket. You come down for free you watch this band, and then at the end of the night, you let me know what your thoughts are on this band. And I can tell you that every single time that's happened, maybe, 3, 4 times, whatever, that person has now become a fan for life with
And
us.
a promoter, probably, right? Later.
Yeah, and a promoter. Yeah. Yeah. So, listen, again, if you were looking for a great time, don't be, blindsided by a girl, because if you
Right.
really want to come down and enjoy the music of Journey and feel that, back in the 80s feel,
And feel like you're actually seeing them, right? Because
right,
that's the thing is, I think that in some cases maybe someone would think, oh, it's a female, it's not going to sound like it's
right,
not going to sound right. But it's actually that's why it sounds right.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
the reason why we
we
sound that way is because
most
there's a female,
most other Journey tributes will tell us that we cheat because we use a female.
which is the most
And
ridiculous thing. Cheat,
right. Well, and
like
for me, I call that good business
yeah,
because
The
we
other ones are cheating by changing the key,
lowering the
right?
key, right,
or using tracks and stuff like that,
right.
which, so yes, if you want to have a great time, if you want to have, that emotional kind of, I feel like I'm back in those days again, come and check the band out.
Yeah, and that it would be an authentic experience. That's the other thing too. Like you're not going to come and hear songs that sound like sort of that kind of like you know embellished and changing. Like people do this all the time. They can't sing the songs the way they're done, so they sing them slightly differently so that they can fit that in their voice, and it just doesn't sound the way whether it's a guy or not, or they like you say lower the key. It doesn't sound the same. But
Mm.
with us, you get the real deal. You get the actual experience as if you were back in time watching Journey.
Well,
That's what I
thank you
think
both
anyway.
very much for joining us today. We're looking forward to having you out next week at Loose Center for the Arts. Tickets are on sale for the Saturday, January 24th show, 7:30 p.m. Tickets on the loose.org, or you can call our box office at 860-963-6789. We'll see you at the show. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you soon.